Alright, so what we're trying to do is we're going to use just a basic synth waveform from the mother to get the filtering right between the timeline and the memory man, and then we'll plug in a guitar and see how similar they sound. So at the moment, just a bypass sound. That's what the mother sounds like. So on the plot, I just tried to get it kind of flat, so it's a combination of just like a really low oscillator pitch with some white noise. You can see that sort of just gives us a relatively flat enough waveform across the frequency spectrum. Okay, so now that we got that going, put it through. So let's just start, put everything back to normal on the timeline to start. So we'll go full mix, so we're only hearing the wet sound, 0 repeats, time, as long as it's not, I think this is something they put in the algorithm, but if you go to the minimum, there's like a crackling. I think that's modeled on some analog delay, I don't know which one. It doesn't happen with the memory man on the lowest speed or delay time, but as long as it's not right at 80, that kind of goes away. The range parameter is the only one unique to this algorithm, and I just go with double. Single basically just introduces sort of aliasing noise at lower delay times, roughly half the times that it does for double. And since the memory man is, I think it's 2 or 4 chips. I haven't looked inside this one, but we'll go with double anyway. It doesn't really matter for this. So let's put that time, I think around 90 is fine, that, you know, the crackle goes away. So with that bypass, you can see all those highs come back in the plot, take it back. So that's what we're rolling with at the moment. If we go over to the memory man, try and bring that gain up a little bit, try and make them equal. So you can see there's already, and I've got that set the same, minimum delay time, no feedback. Full wet mix, so we're only hearing the repeats for now. We will hear it with normal guitar later. So you can see that where that filter cutoff is. So if we switch back to the timeline, I'll try and bring that down, and I think the slope on the filter is a little bit less with the timeline. There's memory man. Pretty close, but you can hear that little bit of extra hiss of the memory man, and a little bit more low end as well on the memory man, or low, not sort of frequencies that shouldn't matter too much. I'll see if the grit brings that in on the timeline. What is it? So the grid almost softens that slope, so that's not what we want. And the way that the timeline filter cuts, I've actually added the boost up to 3 dB to try and equal it out a bit more. It's a real fine cutoff point there, just past noon on that knob. You can hear more highs in the memory man there, but it might just be the white noise from the chips. See that those slopes end at around the same point, around 8K, and it bottoms out, but that top peak around sort of 3-4K. It's a bit different shape. It's kind of got like a bit more resonance on the memory man. Just a slight hump. So there is a different sound. Whether we'll be able to hear that in the mix or just, you know, with a guitar played through it is another story. But I'm gonna run that, and then let's see how this sounds. With the guitar. So plugging in my telly, we'll swap out the synth. probably not going to be in tune. It sounds like there's modulation on there, but I think that got rid of it. Okay. See, this time, memory man's way quieter. Not much in it now. I think the main difference I noticed is just when you adjust the delay time, they make a different kind of sound. So like the timeline. It's actually pretty much the same. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good patch. It's pretty close. I don't think I could tell it apart in a blind test. Whether I'll keep the memory man or not, it's another story. It's still a cool delay pedal to have around, but yeah, the timeline does kind of cover it. It's got the effects loop as well. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know how close they are. I can post the settings in the description as well. Cheers.